Uh, Good morning, all. Hope my voice is audible. Hope you guys are able to hear me. If yes, kindly uh, raise hands. It shows that my voice is okay. Thanks, Shraddha. Thanks, Mohit. Thanks, Kaushik. Thanks, Varun. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gnan. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah. So, good morning. Thanks, all. All. Thank you. Thanks for taking your time on a Sunday morning, and a very warm welcome to our masterclass. So this is Sabrish, and I have been with Analytics Labs since 2017, and I primarily take care of admissions and counselings here, and will be your host for today's session. Today, guys, we'll be discussing, and you guys are aware of the topic for today is how to stand out as a data scientist in 2024. Today we have variety of participants from various backgrounds, from tech, non-tech, semi-tech, freshers, experienced folks, people with more than 20 years of experience, all kind of people with different various backgrounds joining in today. And we have few existing students as well. Over the course of this masterclass, we will understand the ultimate roadmap on how to crack uh, jobs in analytics or data science and the basics that we should all be knowing on the same. Now, you guys will agree in today's world, data is everywhere from the websites you visit, from the apps that you download, uh, and to the products you buy, right? Vast and huge amounts of information are actually being collected and stored here. Now, this is where data scientists, analysts come into picture. They are the experts who analyze and make sense of all these data that has been stored using skills in mathematics, statistics, and computer science as well. They analyze on these patterns and trends that can help businesses make better data-driven decisions, right? Now, as a data scientist, you could be working in, let's say, various industries like healthcare, finance, retail, supply chain, e-commerce, manufacturing, and many more, right? From education till sports today, analytics and data science is playing a key role. Your job would be to develop, let's say, algorithms to build models that provide valuable insights from the data that has been collected. For example, if I want to mention here, let's say you could help a healthcare company predict which patient are at risk for certain diseases, allowing them for an early intervention for diagnosis. Or you could assist a retail store in understanding their customer behavior, helping them to have the right inventory based on their customer behavior analysis and stuff. With the increasing importance of data, the demand for skilled data scientists, analysts are growing rapidly. It's an exciting, also it's a rewarding career path where you can use your analytical skills to solve real world problems, right? Now, if you're fascinated by the power of data or want to be in forefront of this revolution, considering career in data science makes more sense. Great. Now, whether you are a beginner or taking first steps into the world of data science analysis, etc., or someone looking to understand various roles that the data science has, or someone probably working in a complete different domain and looking for a career transition into data science, I think this masterclass we have all the all your requirements, which is tailored to meet your needs. Great. So before we start, some ground rules. Uh, request you to kindly attend the entire webinar since we have a lot of things lined up as usual. If you have any questions, do post them only via Q&A option that is available in your screen. Uh, so if any questions that are relevant to what speaker is presenting will be taken at the same time. If any questions that are not related to the particular slide, then we will probably push it to the end of the session. Great. Without any delay, let me today welcome today's speaker, Mr. Sumit Bansal, co-founder and CEO of Scaletrix AI and Analytics Labs. Talking about his educational background, comes from BE Mechanical from 2007. Talking about his experience, close to 17 plus years of experience, and I've worked with prestigious organizations such as Absolute Data, ZS Associates, McKinsey, etc. His strengths are into data engineering, business analytics, campaign management, big data analytics. Great. Over to you, Sumit. Thank you.
Thanks, Abrish. Good morning, everyone. Glad to see all of you on a Sunday morning, interested in topic which is very dear to all our hearts. So Sabrish has already introduced me. So I look after the overall growth, new initiatives, and external relationships and partnerships. Apart from me, there are two more co-founders, Ankita Gupta. She is also ex-McKinsey with close to 20 years of experience now, and she is responsible for student success, training, operations, and placements. Third co-founder, Chandra. He's from IIT Madras, about 18 years of experience, and takes care of content, training, delivery, certification, and placements. So three of us are assisted with other team members. Sabrish, you have already met, he introduced himself, but there are other team members taking care of different aspects, which helps us to take you towards success, which is a common goal for all of us. So regarding today's topic, we would be focusing on a lot of things, but primary topic would be give you a little one level deeper preview into what is analytics. You guys may already understand it, but let's look at with little examples for better understanding, especially when I say different stages of analytics. Then the core topic which we have today, that is how do you stand out as a data scientist, right? Now, to stand out as a data scientist, you must be really good at the skills which industry is looking at, right? What recruiters are looking for. So that's the crux. No matter how good we are at certain things, but if it does not meet the industry expectations, it will not lead to the common goal we all have in, let's say, starting our career in data science or having a transition or progression in career. So we'll talk a lot more on these aspects, what are industry expectations, what we found out as part of our skill study, which we did early this year. What does it mean for you, where you should focus, right? And I'll share a roadmap based on these learnings, what you can do as an aspirant to start career in data science or make a transition into data science AI. We'll briefly touch upon some job-oriented courses we have in collaboration with IIT Guwahati. Just to give you a preview, it might be of interest, which is suitable for what kind of profiles mainly. And then we also see a lot of questions around people coming from tech, non-tech background and these kind of things. We also would want to share some success stories from students who are from non-tech background, right? Or just to give you an idea how things work out. Apart from this, we would be happy to have many questions, as many questions you can share with us. Although we would want to not spend the group time on individual profile related questions, that our counseling team or other team members can help you one-to-one in the coming week post webinar. For today, the idea would be you get a better understanding of this industry, what are the things recruiters or industry expect from the candidates or job seekers, right? And what are the things you can do to reach there. But feel free to share your question in the chat window. If not today, we'll ensure that your question gets answered, even if we are connecting one-to-one with you post the session or in the coming week. Right? Okay, let's get started. So if we talk about data science, what do you think is data science? If I go with your understanding, current understanding, what do you think is data science? Anyone who would want to share their point of view or understanding so far? Yes, guys. It could be just one word, two-word answer, anything which you think is data science or what is analytics. In fact, there is already a question on computer science and engineering. A bit of it will get answered with this section itself, but we'll talk more about it as we progress. No understanding what is data science? Cleaning of data. Okay. Yes, that's a very, very important part. Hope guys, everyone knows where you can type. We'll open mic later on, but for quick questions or your inputs, we'll prefer if you can type in the Q&A window. Okay. Yes, Anand, that's the whole point of it. Analyzing data. Okay. Okay. So there are some inputs and collectively they can help us to sketch the picture. So let's look at a very simple definition, but effective definition about data science. See, first thing is there is data all around us these days. Okay. As Sabrish mentioned, even when you buy a cup of coffee these days, you are generating data. You are generating data because the coffee company, the coffee vendor, or the coffee chain would be capturing your information, right? They would be also recording what did you buy, what kind of items you bought. So all that information, which location, which store, which customer, what did they buy, that data gets generated. And when you are paying digitally, which is most commonly used method, by card, by UPI, anything, that is also generating data for your bank, credit card company, etc. So data generation is always there. But as a data scientist or as a data analyst, our job starts from extracting data. Okay. It is very important skill how we extract data. Then once we have the required data, it starts by analyzing and processing it. So let's say you have got the data, but it may not be in a good shape, clean. It may not be in a shape which can be used, which can be read in Excel or Python or SQL, right? You might also have to clean the data. That's why processing also comes an important part. And then using that analysis, advanced analytics, machine learning models, statistical models, we generate insights from the data. Okay. Now, what kind of insights we'll talk about in more detail. But one thing I want to focus here now is the objective is to gain insights into the data. One, to gain these insights, we use computation, statistical data visualization methods. That's number two. So someone asked, what is a role of computer science or engineering? So there is some part which computer science or engineering plays, that is mainly how you will extract the data. That part is called data engineering. What kind of computation methods, what kind of statistical method might be needed? Little bit mathematics or computer science goes into it. But the most important part is when we are doing this, we are doing all this to drive smart business decisions. No matter what we do, if we are not able to get good insights which are helpful for the business, the whole exercise, the whole investment, right? Nothing is of use for us or for the company. So you were right when you said we clean the data. Yes, we extract the data. Yes, we want to generate insights. Correct. To generate those insights, we need certain methods, which we can call as data science methods, analytics methods. And those methods are combination of computation based, statistical based, or data visualization based, sometimes very simple mathematical, let's say mean, mode, frequency. These kind of things are also very insightful in some cases to drive smart business decisions. So as such, there is no, let's say, widely accepted definition. This I have condensed to make sense out of it from more real world point of view. For people who are more interested, you can also go through this blog, which provides a lot more details about what is data science. So in each of these sections, as we progress, I have few resources for you guys. If you are more interested, you can go and check it out. There will be some downloadable options also. Okay, so moving on to the next, we understand overall what is data science or analytics. Now let's understand from more real world point of view, different stages of analytics. Because these days we hear a lot, let's say predictive analytics, we hear about AI, we hear about cognitive analytics, generative AI, etc. So let's spend a little time to understand these things better. The first form of analytics, okay, is descriptive and diagnostic analytics. This kind of analytics helps us to understand what has happened in past, okay, and why did it happen. So we also call it as backward looking analytics, where businesses are trying to understand what has happened in past and why did it happen. So for example, they might want to understand how satisfied are their customers? How is the current business performance versus last year? If companies losing revenue, where is it losing? Okay, where the revenues are dropping. So in short, what has happened? Why did it happen? Where the problem lies? When you have these kind of questions, descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics comes to the rescue. That helps us. And that is also practically a starting point for any professional to start learning skills, right? Or even for a company which is now building analytics capabilities, they start in this fashion only. So even when you learn data science, you will first learn those skills, those tools which focus on descriptive and diagnostic analytics. The tools typically used for these are simple tools, let's say Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, SQL, Excel, which helps us to analyze the data, summarize the data. For this type of or this stage of analytics, we do not need advanced things, like we don't need much of statistical analysis here. We may use, but very basic one. We don't use any machine learning algorithms, etc. here, right? If we have to take an example, let's take an example of Uber or Blue Smart, right? If they want to understand what is the customer satisfaction for people who have taken their ride or booked cab through them in last 1 year, okay? If they want to understand how many bookings they got this year versus last year, if they want to understand which cities, which location the revenue is lower than the average, or which are the locations where they are not getting enough business, right? If there are cities where the cab performance is not good. So all those kind of questions, if you see, are backward looking, what has happened and why did it happen. So descriptive or diagnostic analysis will help us to answer these kind of things. Okay. Any questions on this, guys, on descriptive? Let's look at something which is very popular with everyone for some reasons, predictive analytics or prescriptive analytics. Why I say so popular? Because this kind of analysis helps organizations to predict what could happen and what should they do. Okay. And for candidates, this is something which they always find very glamorous, very interesting. So every candidate we see mostly wants to learn predictive analytics. But one thing I would definitely note, the route to predictive analytics goes through descriptive analytics. As I said in the beginning, even for a company or even for an individual to reach predictive analytics, you will have to do descriptive analytics. So in this kind of analytics, we are trying to predict what is likely to happen next. For example, if the customers are dissatisfied, how many dissatisfied customers may stop using our services in next 6 months? We can take the same example of cab booking, right? Or sometimes people book cab on their credit card, right? But then they later default on their payments. Which type of customers or which customers are likely to default on their payments? Okay. Then let's say customer has some issue with the ride, with the driver, with the cab, anything. They might also reach out to the customer support. They may call, they may chat, it could be anything, to predict how many customers are expected to call us in next 3 months, 1 month, 6 months, right? So that we can recruit enough team members, enough staff members to answer those calls. So all these kind of analytics typically needs combination of statistical modeling, machine learning modeling, right? That can help us to understand what will happen next, if the same trend is going to continue, what should we do? So this kind of analytics typically also need more advanced tools like R, Python, and statistical analysis, machine learning model starts coming into picture at this stage of analytics. Uh, any example that comes to your mind when you look out the world around you, right? Even when you shop, when you watch TV these days, there is a lot of predictive and prescriptive analytics happening. Any example that comes to your mind, guys? You can think of that predictive analytics happening or prescriptive analytics is happening. Come on, it's all around us. The data science in present world is all around us. So anything that comes to your mind where analytics happens, predictive analytics is happening. And I have given you hints. When you shop, even when you watch TV, when you listen to music, there's a lot of analytics all around us. I'll give you one hint. When you're watching Netflix or YouTube, the suggestions which you see in your list that you may also like this, right? Or Netflix curates watch list based on your preferences, right? Or even if you see Facebook these days, uh, the feed which you have will be very different from your friend or your family members, etc. Why? Because these platforms are using algorithm to understand your past activity using descriptive, and then using those models, they are predicting what do customers like you prefer more, what do they like to watch, what they like to listen, what do they like to shop. So a combination of predictive and prescriptive is happening, that what could happen, what you will like, right? What should we show you, what kind of discounts and offers to be given to the customers. The next one, which is a hot topic these days, is your uh, cognitive analytics, or very commonly known as artificial intelligence, right? So in this form of analytics, this stage of data science, generative AI, chatbots come into picture. So one example is very simple. Almost all companies have chatbots to handle simple requests from customers. Even these days, banks have chatbots to assist you with your password change. If you forget password, chatbots very conveniently and very reliably can help you with it, right? If you have to return an order to an e-commerce company, these days they have chatbots to filter out if it's a genuine request or it is a request which should be discarded, right? Chat GPT, lot of you guys might have already seen being using. The next level example of this is where more autonomous decision making happens is when we see self-driving cars. Tesla, right? That's the best example. Even when we talk about Mahindra XUV 700, it has autonomous driving, which can lane assist, right? Which can predict a collision, brake, do certain things for better safety of the car. Even drones these days, especially the military drones, have a lot of AI built into it, right? So what is happening in this stage of analytics? Machines are using computer vision language models where they can understand our inputs as a simple English, Hindi, regional languages also. They can visualize an image and see what is happening or not happening. So if we have to look at the same example of car booking, right? So app using some AI features to predict your location or to detect your location, and based on your history that where you might want to go, automatically pulls a suggestion, right? Or let's take it to next level. Soon you would see in some cabs, they have a computer vision devices for safety and driver safety. Let's say if there is anything that detect visually, whether it's an accident or whether it is, let's say, some kind of altercation or issue with the driver and passenger, it could raise an alarm with the cab companies to take preemptive safety measures. Another example, which is already in place, lot of insurance companies these days, if you put an accident claim, they use video survey. They will ask you to do a video recording of your car accident site and all that. So they're using video analytics, which has computer vision built into it to see the genuineness of the claim, the extent of the damage, and what has to be done and how it has to be done, right? So all around, lot of things we are seeing are actually already using AI driven models to one or the other extent. If you have realized, or some people might already know this, even when you do your unlocking of phone using face recognition, that is also a form of AI using computer vision, right? You guys might have seen these days phones can also recognize you with a mask and a glasses also, right? So what is happening there? We have a lot of applications which seem to be taken for granted, but actually at the back end, there are AI applications happening to support those use cases. But as I said, even when you have to move to an AI specialist or an AI engineer, your journey of learning skills will begin with descriptive, then predictive, and then move to AI. And this is true for the organizations also. When they are building or hiring the capabilities within the organization, they first invest into descriptive, then predictive and cognitive, because this part, descriptive, also plays important role in getting a clean usable data, and without clean usable data, predictive and prescriptive or cognitive AI cannot happen. So I'll take a pause here and let's see if you have any questions on these three stages of analytics, or some examples you want to share, or any questions on the examples which I shared. Anything which comes to your mind on the things you see around the world, please let me know. Okay. So I hope with this there is a fair amount of understanding the about analytics and different stages of analytics, and different kind of examples we talked about. And let's say there are a number of other examples which we may not have spoken about, but would be applicable there. Okay, there is a question from Anand. So Anand, see, there is not no single tool to do predictive analytics. Typically, any analytics tech stack will have multiple things in any organization. However, if I have to simply answer your question, the most popular and widely used tool these days is Python, right? But as you will start learning more on these things within Python, then there are many libraries. Okay. And when we are talking about real-time data, let's say in a banking scenario, credit card scenario, Python will have to be supported on uh, AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, basically cloud computing. So you will also need PySpark to support that real-time uh, streaming of data. So single tool is Python, but it's not just Python which is able to support all these applications. Python is then also supported by cloud computing and other ecosystem of libraries meant for data science applications. Right? Okay. Any more questions, guys? Okay. I'll move to the next stage. Now we'll start gradually going towards the main topic of the webinar, which is as an individual, as an aspirant who is looking for a career or who is looking for a transition in career, uh, can stand out as a data scientist, right? So the best way to do these things would be to reach out industry. Okay. So early this year, as I mentioned, we did a survey. We reached out to about 100 or more industry leaders and recruiters. We did a study, which is also available for you to download a detailed report. Right, this is data science skills survey. I have also added a link for the same in our webinar. You can download this more. We will not be able to go through the detailed study. It's quite extensive, right? But for anyone interested in this topic, you should download and go through it if not already done. But what I'll do is I'll talk about few important things which are needed, which you should know to focus for your career objectives, right? So let's jump on to those things. So when we ask these people, what are the key skills for the beginners? Okay, to have career in data science. So what do you think? What is your guess? What are the things they mentioned? Sorry, there is one question from Sonali. Sonali, yes, there are job roles. There are people who only work on the descriptive or diagnostic analytics. So typical role of data analyst or business analyst will be focused on the first stage of analytics. And we, even our courses are pretty much aligned to these different stages. I'll talk about it. Okay, guys. Okay, Anand is saying MS Excel, Power BI. Okay. More questions, guys? More answers? What do you think? What do recruiters or industry leaders rated as the most important skill for beginners? Python, Power BI, Tableau, analytical thinking. Okay, some good answers, very good answers. Come on, guys, more. There are a lot many participants than the answers we have. Python, problem solving skills. Yeah, good. Logical thinking. Yes, very important. Okay. So let's look at what are the responses we got? Of course, this is a multiple choice question, so they could have rated multiple things as top important. So the most important skill is, as I said, the fundamental tool, Python or R. In some organizations, still R is in demand, but in short, analytical skills using Python R type tools. I will deep dive into this also later on. But the thing which really stands out is this. After your technical skills, if you see the next top two and top three, they are softer skills, problem solving skills. Now, what happens? Uh, I don't want to undermine the importance of technical skills, but very often we have struggled with this with some students, and most of the courses also just focus on the technical skills without enough focus on problem solving skills, right? And once you have done data analysis, how do you communicate those analysis? How do you share it with stakeholders, right? Those things people do not pay enough attention, and that is also one of the reasons because of which they struggle during job interviews, right? During a lot of even after, let's say, you get your first job. Now, how will your career progression look like over the years? That also depends a lot on how good you are in some of the other skills which are non-technical, let's say problem solving and communication. And needless to say, data analysis, statistical analysis, predictive modeling, right? SQL as a technical skill, all these things came up as part of the answer. But if we look at the top three, one is technical, which is very obvious. But the top two and top three, right, are about problem solving and communication. Because you have, let's say, done analysis, but that analysis is not business centric. Okay. That analysis does not really help to solve the business problem, or you are not able to convey your findings with the stakeholders. Okay. You are not able to communicate about what you have found, then that analysis is of very, very little value. So this is one part. I would suggest everyone to please take note of it and remember going forward, whether you are learning at Analytics Labs or on your own or anywhere, please do not undermine some other aspects which you need to succeed in career, and only focus on technical skills, which can be frustrating. Because see, it takes 6 months, 1 year to do these skills very well, but then when you start struggling in the interviews, and you have done well, Python well, etc., right? But then you are not able to figure out what's happening, what's not working. These are some of the things which are very important to remember. Let's see if we have some questions on it. Yeah. Okay. So see, if we look at the answers which we get, predominantly they are technical and they are tool based, and there is nothing wrong because that's very logical for us to think about it. However, there were couple of answers on logical thinking, analytical thinking, right? These kind of things also. So this is a common trap which most programs are not able to steer through. And this is a thing which, of course, when someone is starting their career or a beginner or career transition, they also do not realize enough. Uh, Again, repeating, if you want to go to the full report, you can download it here. It is available in our blog section and report section also. Okay. Anything you would want me to clarify? Anything you want me to share more on this? Any questions on this? So there is one question from Kushagra on TCS company for data scientists. Kushagra, I'll park this question for now. We'll discuss it later on, probably in after some sections when we have anything related to this. Okay. Yeah, Samir, I think Samir has raised his hand a couple of times. Sabrish, can we unmute him, please? Samir, you want to discuss something over mic? Sabrish? Yeah, Samir, you can talk now. Your
Yeah,
mic should be active.
yeah. Thank you for giving the access, sir. So, I have went through with many few demo sessions, as
Hmm.
many people are saying SQL is a big part of the data analytics. And here I can see in this slide, SQL is very less, importance given here. So, what is the difference here?
Yeah, Samir, very good question. See, when they say SQL is very important, they're absolutely right. Okay. Uh, and as I will progress through the session, you will see we will have same thing uh, coming up, right? But when we, let's say, talk about as a data scientist, as a data analyst, what are, let's say, three tools you want to learn? SQL will be always among them. Okay. That's why you will see SQL comes up very prominently everywhere. Correct. However, this, so if you will go through the report, this also talks about some challenges. So when recruiters are hiring, so SQL is not a challenge they see. Most people are able to have it. Okay. Most people know about it. Or let's say even you have someone who does not know SQL, although that is going to be very improbable scenario. They will be able to learn it pretty well if they are good with problem solving. Okay. However, you hire someone who was tested on SQL, right? And they did very good on SQL case study, SQL test, etc. But in when they were not able to real problem solve, let's say I do not ask you to write this code in SQL. I give you a problem that for this particular city in this sub product category, we are not seeing customers coming back for repeat purchase, right? Can you use SQL to solve that kind of answer? Okay, so SQL has its importance, nothing to do with it. And as we will deep dive more on the technical tools, etc., you will see it is still one of the most important tools. But when we talk about the general skills, the key skills recruiters are testing for, or it's very important to them, their problem solving comes up very importantly.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
Most welcome. Okay, so probably you can mute yourself, Samir. Then Bharat, so when we say communication, it is not just reports. See, even when you have to present your analysis over a Zoom call, okay, that is also communication. If you have to share complexity of the work you are doing or the analysis with your client over an email, that is also communication. So communication can be in form of reports, dashboards, graph charts, or even presenting something. So just to give you one idea, when we have our program and some evaluations of this program, the case studies you work on, you are supposed to also present those case studies, right? Because most programs will not focus on this aspect and forget about job. Even for many job interviews these days, you will get case study. Yes, they will also ask you to present or explain your or give a walk through your case study. So communication is everything: your reports, your emails, or how do you present your analysis or data over a Zoom call. Great. Okay. Anything else on this? Let's move ahead then. But yeah, Samir, thanks for bringing that up. It was helpful to underline that point. We'll have touch upon this again. Right. Now, another thing which we see as a disconnect in industry and the skills program is that domain knowledge. So, of course, for someone who is already working, let's say you are a professional with 5 years of experience, okay? For you, domain knowledge is important. Let's say you have done sales in banking, you understand that domain, okay? If you are someone who has worked in, let's say, telecom industry, credit card, insurance industry, domain knowledge brings a lot of value. But even for freshers or beginners, when we ask them how important is the domain knowledge, about 8% say must have, 21% say very important, right? And over 50% say somewhat important. So in totality, over 20% respondents consider domain knowledge important. What does this mean for us? This means when you're learning, you're working on these case studies. Do not look at those case studies or projects. Let's say you're solving a Python problem or a SQL problem. Your case studies will be typically, let's say, sometimes from retail industry, sometimes from e-commerce, sometimes from credit cards, sometimes from healthcare, right? Are you able to put that hat? Are you able to understand which are the areas or what are the common problems which, let's say, a hospitality company will face? Can you wear that hat? Which are the problems typically an airline company face? Let's say you have worked on a case study for an e-commerce company. Tomorrow you get a job interview opportunity with a credit card company. Can you think of the common pain points a credit card company will have as an e-commerce company, right? For example, as an e-commerce case study, you might work on a problem of customer returns. Okay, some customers have habit of placing order, and then when the play order is given, 70-80% orders they return or they do not receive and all that, right? So this is also looked at a risk. So it's a kind of a risk problem for an e-commerce company. They spend huge resources in getting those orders and fulfilling those orders, right? And then if it is not getting paid, it's a loss for them. Even if the order has to return, there's a lot of money which is spent in logistics, courier, etc. So this is a customer risk. This is kind of bad customers. If let's say you learned a predictive modeling, how to predict or identify bad customers, right? Can you apply same thing in credit card? Because a credit card company or insurance company may also have some set of customers which are bad customers. People who are not paying or defaulting on their credit card payment are bad customers. For an insurance, people making false claims, very frequent claims on flimsy grounds and all that, that is also a bad customer. So a lot of things you will learn can be applied across different industries. Hence, keeping an eye that what domain you are working on, what is the pain point and problem in this domain, similar pain point and problems in related domains, all that kind of mindset is actually very, very helpful. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not just getting the job once, but let's say you join somewhere as a data analyst or a data scientist, how quickly you will grow. Okay. What kind of growth in terms of your promotions, in terms of your salary, how much your company values will also factor. A lot of these things will also factor in those cases also. Okay. So important part of your learning should be what are the domains you will get to learn when you're learning data science and data analytics. I understand one cannot learn all domains. Also, if we talk about the most important domains these days, it is banking, finance, insurance. We call it as BFSI. Again, this is captured in our report also. We asked this question also to the participants. Then there are some other industries, let's say healthcare, retail, and e-commerce. As I said, you may not be able to learn all domains, but can you focus on 2 or 3 domains where there are majority of jobs? If we talk about these days, banking, finance, insurance, if we talk about healthcare, then e-commerce and retail. E-commerce and retail are similar in lot many ways. Let's say these 3 domains, easily they will constitute for majority of the job roles in the market. So when you're learning a program, is that program focusing on the domains where you find most of the jobs? So that is also an important factor you should understand about. Now, another thing is learning these things as part of course, but also that aptitude you need to build, that you learn some papers, you read some articles on LinkedIn, so you read blogs, okay, where we have let's say these topics covered. I'm not saying Analytics Labs blogs, I'm saying just blogs. So there are many good platforms. Let's say Medium is there. Okay. There's another platform towards data science, where you can find a lot of articles which are informative, and it may not make a lot of sense to you at the moment, but once you start learning data science, they will start making sense to you. Okay. So Shraddha, I'll take up that question, but in short, at Analytics Labs, our quest is more holistic learning. As I said, we do not just want you to teach the technical tools, Excel or SQL or Python, but more importantly, how do you apply them? More focus on the application in different areas, right? More application based approach rather than just a technical tool approach. Okay, guys, more questions on this? Great. Let's look at next section. Now, when we ask them, okay, that what are the skills and tools to focus in 2024? This is basically kind of an advice or a common thread theme we try to capture based on their input for people who are applying for jobs. Okay. So the common theme is data is everywhere, but the true value lies in extracting actionable insights. If you think this is all related to what we have spoken about, problem solving, communication, right? The first thing is blending data from multiple sources. Can you, as an analyst or data scientist, get data, extract data from multiple sources and combine it for more comprehensive analysis? For example, for a retail company, if a customer is buying on app, okay, and then next month they are also buying from store, right? They are 2 different data sources. Can you combine them together, right, for better analysis? Okay. For a bank customer, if a customer is doing some interactions or activity in bank branch or net banking, right? Can you combine those things together? For a, let's say, fashion brand, can you combine customer satisfaction surveys with social media chatter? So as a data scientist, you can also analyze social media data. Let's say, what are customers talking about your brand on Facebook? What are customers talking about your brand on Twitter? So even we have some case studies where you analyze Twitter data, right? What are people tweeting? Let's say there is a new phone launch. There is a new movie which has come up. There is a new controversy, right? There is a new cricket game. A celebrity player has done well or not well, right? Analyzing what people are talking about. Is the sentiment positive, negative? If negative, what is driving that negative emotions? With the customer satisfaction which your brand has. So it is becoming a very important skill that as an analyst, you can combine data from multiple sources to generate analysis and insights which are more comprehensive. So this came up very, very prominently. In fact, when we learn tools like SQL or even Power BI, Tableau, etc., there are topics on data blending which are there, and that's a whole purpose, that you can blend data from multiple sources to analyze it better or more comprehensively. Any questions on this? I hope you get the gist, or what do we mean by data blending? Any questions you have on this, please feel free to let me know. The next is data visualization. So earlier what used to happen is, let's say a data scientist, I'm talking about 5-6 years back, a data scientist would mainly focus on tools like Python, R, etc. Okay. Because their main job role was to create machine learning models, predictive models, focus on, let's say, AI applications. But increasingly, more and more people are asking for data visualization skills. Let's say, as a data scientist, your outputs are technical, which business people will not be able to understand. Can you present your analysis using tools like Power BI, Tableau, even for that matter, Excel, even for that matter, within Python, there are some libraries for data visualization we use. But in short, you as a technical person, as a data scientist, as a data analyst, may be able to understand technicalities, right? But as a business stakeholder, as a client, I may not be technical. Can you convey your analysis or findings through data visualization? So data visualization earlier used to be a standalone skill. In 2016, about 8 years back, we launched our first full-fledged data visualization course. Okay. And at that point of time, it used to be for people who want to learn data visualization specifically, or analysts or data scientists who had interest in learning data visualization. But over last few years now, this has become pretty much an essential skill. So data visualization skill is in fact something we do as for first module as part of our programs. Of course, if you are picking up a career as a machine learning engineer, AI engineer, then the importance is less. But as a data scientist, as a data analyst, it is super important to understand and have skills around data visualization. Draw actionable business insights. This, I think we have already spoken number of times now, because anything you are doing, if it is not going to help a business to take meaningful actions or do something which is useful for them, no value in your work. So your work is only valuable if it is helping businesses to do the stuff more meaningfully and take some actions to improve the business performance. And fourth one, related to our past slide, the last slide, whatever insights you have got, can you marry it with domain understanding? Let's say, and this happens very often, you built a predictive model, your predictive model is telling you something, but from real world scenario, from a real industry or domain point of view, it may be useless. Either it is not actionable, right? Or it is counterintuitive, or it cannot work that way. I'll share my example. So I'm talking about 2010. That was my second, third year of job. I worked on an analysis. I was awake till 4 a.m. because I had to present that analysis to client next day in the morning meeting. I built analysis using very sophisticated mathematical logic, everything, right? Now, client patiently listened to me for 15-20 minutes, but then they said, Sumit, you know what? Whatever you have done would be good from analytics point of view, but we cannot implement it. Okay, because this was a telecom client. Because in telecom, what you are suggesting, customers cannot switch between plans every 15 days. There was some more context around it. But I see this happening even in my own organization. I'm not talking about Scaletrix, where sometimes analysts are working overnight and they are expecting that client will be super happy with the analysis they have done, but they do not realize that what they are doing from domain point of view, either it is not actionable or it does not make sense. So it becomes very important that these things are taken care of, and we are doing all our effort by keeping this in mind, not spending countless hours, and then later on client rejects the output. Okay, and trust me, even in interviews you will see some questions, some puzzles, interviewers will ask you. So all these kind of things are kind of related to logical thinking, related to problem solving. But in our quest or our fascination with tools, we often overlook these things. Okay. I'll stop here for a minute. Any questions, guys? Any comments, questions, observations? Okay. Let's jump to one part. When we ask them for a more detailed breakdown of programming and analytic skills, okay, so let's say someone had already answered about Python, R, etc., problem solving, but then we ask them to give more, a level deeper answer on technical or analytical skills, which they think in 2024 or in future are going to be very, very important. Okay. So I will break down this answer in two parts. The first is conventional skills or conventional programming topics. So SQL came up, right? As Samir, I mentioned, it can't be undermined, but the context there was different. When we asked them specifically about technical, SQL came up. Statistical analysis, right? I think someone in the audience had this question that can someone only do descriptive analytics, the first stage of analytics? The answer was yes. However, what we have seen and learned over our experience, at least some amount of statistical analysis is highly valuable. Even if you are working as a data analyst or business analyst, we cover some fundamental statistical concepts just because of this reason. You can be data analyst without any statistics altogether, but trust me, it will impact your job performance, or you will see a lot of job openings for data analyst or business analyst asking for at least basic statistical skills, basic predictive modeling skills, let's say regression based modeling, etc. And the next one was big data, right? So earlier, big data was perceived as something only meant for engineers or very, very technical. But when we say big data, that mainly means ability to deal with large volumes of data. So even as an analyst who is working, let's say for a retail company, I'm not even talking about e-commerce company, I'm saying traditional retail company which have brick and mortar stores. The volume of data these stores have across, because at least this much maturity we have, a lot of organizations are capturing data and they are loading the data almost on daily or hourly basis. So you need to have some understanding how will you connect SQL or Python on cloud, okay, to deal with large volumes of data. So till 2022, in our business analyst and data analyst programs, we were not covering SQL on cloud, But just to give you at least this much understanding that if you have to use SQL on cloud to deal with big data, how will you do that? So not very technical if you have already learned SQL, but little bit of effort and brings a great advantage. Okay, let's see, there is a question. Mohammed, very good question. I'll answer that. So Mohammed has a question, how can we build problem solving skills? I'll answer that. So now let's look at some emerging trends. So one emerging trend which we see is generative AI. I hope everyone knows what is generative AI. If not, a simple stellar example is ChatGPT. So where AI can generate content. In ChatGPT free version, that content is text. Okay. You may take help to write emails, you may take help to write essays, you may take help to write blogs. But generative AI can also be, by the way, you can also use ChatGPT to write your Python codes, SQL codes. Let's say you do not know a particular type of code, you understand the structure, but you are not able to recall. ChatGPT can provide you those codes. You want to know which Python libraries can be used, ChatGPT can help you with that. So ability to use generative AI to make or do your work better is important skill now. So that basically improves your work efficiency. That basically improves your uh, let's say output. How much output you are able to deliver in 8 hours of work day versus with ChatGPT based approach. How will it work? So this is also one thing which we introduced last year. Our programs have a module on generative AI. We also call it prompt engineering, that how you can use these tools to make your work more efficient or work more efficiently. And large scale AI ML. This is somewhat related to the discussion I had on big data. But what we mean here, as a data scientist, if you are doing machine learning, okay, or if you are as an AI engineer, you are building an AI model, you should know how to take that model on cloud for large scale applications. Because I may be able to build a model conceptually on a small data sample, right? Or even on my laptop. Okay. But to make it work for a company, for a large organization, for a bank, for a retail company, for an insurance company, I should be able to take it to the cloud-based infrastructure. So again, this is a skill which we introduced in our programs in 2021. So overall, if we look at it, how industry is evolving, you cannot do away with the fundamentals, things like SQL, statistical analysis, little bit understanding of big data. This is pretty much an essential fundamental any data professionals need to know, right? And as the world is evolving, for data scientists or for data professionals, understanding generative AI, or for AI engineers, ML engineers, understanding large scale ML is essential to succeed on jobs. So this is where we stand. As I said, you can download the report and look at these things more closely with more context. For our discussion today, it does not really help us that much to spend time on just solely report. Okay, any questions, guys? So there are a couple of questions pending. Please be assured I will be taking up these questions in next section. In fact, what we can do is we can stop for a quick 2-3 minutes break, right? And when we come back, we will discuss a step-by-step approach, right? What should be your roadmap if you have to achieve these things? Because as a beginner or someone who is planning to learn these things, a lot of these things may appear huge, right? And daunting, that how to go about it. There is so much to do and so much to learn. But things become easier when we take step by approach. So what we'll do, we'll stop for a pause now, a short, very short break. And after that, we will discuss the steps which can help us to reach our goal. Anant, yes, little bit of statistical analysis. And what I mean by statistical analysis here is I'm not talking about, let's say, a lot of theorems and calculations. Trust me, even I was very scared of during my school, college days, but it is needed for analytics. Even I learned it uh, for analytics only when I started working and I needed for projects. So in our courses, we spend some time on statistics with no expectation that we understand you do not know statistics. We start from there. And our programs also have some basic pre-learning concepts, building blocks. We call it building blocks. So you go through them to understand some basic, very basic concepts. Even on those concepts, you will get doubt support, right? They will be discussed as doubts. And then we spend some time in learning those things. So Harshit, yes. So basically, let's say if your MCA, I believe, is 1 or 2 years these days, still 2 years, or the duration has changed. So what you can do is to learn any of these skills comfortably, it takes about 6 months to 1 year. Okay. However, I will suggest to you to consider AI course given your background. It's just a little extension of machine learning. But coming back to your question, let's say practically when you will be learning, doing all the case studies, practice, etc., you should be ready. And even if at that point of time you're entering MCA second year, you would be geared up for some internship, let's say apprenticeship roles, etc. So this is a good time, and by the time you're graduating, you can actually be looking for job roles only in this area related to AI/ML. So typically, anyone who is in final year, right, or about, if not final year, 2 years to graduate, can start these programs. That's recommended. There is a question, can a 10th pass out can do this course? So 10th pass out can do it technically, right? But what is your objective? If you're looking for a job, no, you will not be able to get job. You need a graduation degree to get job in analytics. That is one. However, the other part is for 10th graduate, it also may be difficult to follow certain things. So minimum criteria, which we say is 12th, but that is only if you're learning for upskilling. If you're learning for job, it is better you start learning these skills when you are in college, or let's say you are about to pass out in a year or two. Harshit, does it answer your question? Okay. Harshit's question is done. There is one question. I will take up this question on how easy or difficult is for tech background. This is a common question. We'll talk about it. There's another question, 4 or 5 years of experience as a SQL developer, which course would be good? We have some very solid courses. All these questions are going to be answered. Give me some time, but we'll do it in after a couple of sections. Okay. Let me see. Samir has a question to discuss. 1 second. Yeah, Samir, you can share your question.
I'm so sorry if I'm troubling you.
No problem. That's the point of this webinar, to clarify your doubts and answer. Yes.
Yeah. So what is the part of MSBA, sir? As it is MSBA, are we covering in this data science course?
Can you give me the full form when you say MSBA?
Microsoft Business Intelligence.
Okay, no. So we are not covering MSBI.
Okay.
because see, as part of the tools which are used in analytics domain, it is not possible to cover all possible tools in industry. But the quest is we cover the tools where let's say at least 90-95% jobs are there. Okay. So the Microsoft the BI thing is used with very few companies, maybe on legacy tech stacks. Most of the job roles, if we see now, are in terms of uh, let's say BI, business intelligence point of view, also are focusing on combination of one or the other form of SQL. Okay. And with the tools like Power BI,
Power
Tableau,
BI, Tableau.
ClickView, yeah, yeah. In fact, Power BI is also Microsoft product now, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they also understand that reality. I think this happened few years back. They acquired it or through some merger. It's a Power BI, Microsoft product, right?
Yeah. Why I
But
asked you
one thing which I
because
want to mention here is,
Mhm.
see, this is a very common thing. You got trained on certain tools, right? But then there is a job opportunity which you are getting on a different tool, or companies migrating to different tool. So very important point here is the approach and the mindset to work on these tools are very similar. If you, let's say, know how to use MySQL, you can work on other forms of SQL with very little additional learning. So SQL is used, let's say, in Teradata also. All right, it is used in MySQL also. Even a lot of big data Hadoop based ecosystems have SQL like queries. Okay, so what happens? You have learned SQL, which is backbone of a lot of these tools and how they operate. With little bit effort, you can switch to any other tool. So there might be a learning curve, but typically this learning curve will be very easy for anyone who has worked on one tool. If I'll share my example. When I started my career in 2007, right, the most popular analytics tool at that point of time was SPSS. Now I'm sure most of you or hardly anyone of you have heard about it. Okay. Within a year or two, world moved to SaaS. When then SaaS became world's largest selling software. I learned SaaS pretty well and worked on it for some time. Then by the time 2013-14 came, R was a talk of the town, right? And pretty quickly after 2016-17, Python became most popular tool, and it is there and it is going to stay for very long years now. That fight has to be settled, seem to be settled. Even on our blog, you would find some articles I wrote for other publications like Analytics India magazine. Also, we used to compare these tools, SAS versus R versus Python, right? So that's a separate topic. But thing is, if someone had worked on SAS or R, right, for them, the approach and the mindset, fundamentally, you are doing data analytics. The steps to do data analytics are same. It's just that in a different tool, you may need to know different commands or different libraries that change. And the learning curve there is very simple. So that is one thing which you should always understand, because even if you today learn Python, tomorrow after 3 years, 5 years, no one can guarantee. Although the landscape how looks like that industry has settled in favor of Python, it is going to stay for very long. But even after 10 years, another tool comes up, it's perfectly fine. As a professional, you will be able to adopt that tool very easily.
Yeah, got it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So let's pause for a short break, and then we'll take up your questions and move to next sections. There are a lot of questions which will make sense, some in this section, some in later section. So thanks for posting them. I'll take it up. So especially which is the right course, what is the difference? Some of these questions will answer in the next question. Okay. But let's say if we have to think of taking the first step, the first step is the prerequisites. Okay. you need to have an understanding what is data science domain. Does it align with your interest, aspirations? Are you willing to give the effort it would need? Okay. This is very important. I'll talk more about it. How does it work in different organizations, right? So some of these things we already covered today. There could be more you should learn about before you jump with this decision, right? What are the different type of job roles? Let's say the job role could be as a data analyst, as a business analyst. Which job role and profile works for you? So some of this I'll be able to help today, but this is something until you do not have full clarity, do not make a decision of jumping into this course. If you need help from Analytics Labs, we are more than happy to help with it. But sometimes I see people making these decisions just because everyone around them is taking these decisions. No, that is not going to be the correct approach. And I'll tell you why. When you sign up for this course, for next 6 months to 12 months, it will need commitment and discipline from you. Let's say you are opting for a bootcamp batch or a weekend batch, you have classes for 6-8 hours a week, right? But additionally, around 2 hours of self-study for freshers, additionally at least, is recommended, would be needed. Sometimes it may go up depending on the module, sometimes it may go down. Similarly, for working professionals, on average, apart from 6 hours of classes, can you take out another 8 hours, 10 hours for self-study, right? Because if you can't do that, no matter which course you join, whether Analytics Labs or any course, it will not serve the purpose, right? So please first understand how does it work, where it is used, for you, which type of job role or career path will work. So this part is important. And you should not be the person who is just doing it because everyone else is doing it. How you can do this? As I said, read some of the blogs. Uh, Analytics Labs is one source. There are more sources. You may begin here. Automatically, you can look at more sources like Medium, Towards Data Science, Kaggle, etc. Right? Such webinars can also help you, right? Then there are a lot of ebooks or books available. Then there are meetups. Post COVID, of course, the physical meetups have gone down. We used to do it before COVID, physical also, but could be some meetups you can make use of it. So this is step one. Needless to say, I think everyone understands it, that what works for others may not work for you. Hence, unlike many institutes, we are not just offering one data science course, because mostly if you will see, they will just have one data science or AI course. We have 3-4 different courses, 4-5 different courses. I'll also talk about it, which is for non-tech background, which is for tech background. We'll talk about all those things, right? But this is a very important. The next thing is learning the in-demand skills. Some of these skills we have already spoken about, right? But things which stand out, let's say data visualization, statistical analysis. If you're targeting a job role for, let's say, data analyst, then the main focus would be, let's say, these skills. If you are focusing on, let's say, machine learning, AI-based roles, data scientist-based roles, then these are also important skills you need to learn. In fact, generative AI, which I said is just kind of using chat GPT or similar tools as a co-pilot to make your work easier, even data analysts should know. Let's say you are stuck with something in SQL code or Python code, you can take help from these programs comfortably. Okay. The way to do this is, of course, the professional learning programs like ours are there, right? But if you are someone who can go through an unstructured path also, then on YouTube or there could be some free learning MOOCs also available. But this mode works for few people, so don't get frustrated Let's say you try to learn data science with YouTube, but it is not making sense. It does not make sense to most of the people. There are few people for whom this approach may work. Okay. But otherwise, for large chunk of people, you may need let's say, professional guidance, mentors to help provide you support for doubts, for your case studies, what to steer through and how to steer through. Okay. Now, preparing for real world challenges. What do we mean by this? This is connected to the key things we discussed. Technical skills, a lot of people learn how to do Excel, how to learn SQL, right? But real world challenges means how you are going to actually face interviews, how you are going to work on job, because problem solving skills, as Mohammed asked, is important part. Communication is a very important part. So at least from Analytics Labs point of view, I can mention that when we design our courses, okay, we take care of that. Will students be able to learn problem solving, how to coach them and guide them on communication? So that's why our learning track is divided into two parts. One is till certification, right? There you learn and focus on mostly these skills and some on problem solving. And then we also have a module called PRP, Placement Readiness Program, where we guide you and coach you on these skills. Okay. So, Mohammed, the simple answer to this question is practice. Okay. But sometimes you may need guidance for practice, that what could be some structured problem solving frameworks and approach. Needless to say, you can also find them online. If you search problem solving frameworks, okay, how to use structured problem solving, you will find a lot of things. And more you practice, more you do it. Of course, along with mentors and instructors, it becomes easier. So when we are designing our courses, we are taking care of these things. Even in our blogs, again, you will be able to find interview questions, even puzzles and interview questions which are needed for business analyst role, data analyst role. But instructor or mentor can show you the path, how to approach it, course correct it in between. The success you will get once you practice on it. So as a starting point, Mohammed, regarding your question, even if you search, there are a lot of problem solving frameworks. Pyramid principle is there. McKinsey has a 7-step problem solving loop. You can search for that and you will find many more, right? Pick up one or two which you like. Okay. There are even concepts like elevator pitch regarding communication. Pyramid principle is there for communication. Understand them, use some examples, and practice them. As I said, as part of our courses, we have this PRP, Placement Readiness Program, where after certification, we focus on these aspects, right? And another thing is, sometimes you know all this, how to get your CV shortlisted. So try to go for a certification which comes with accreditations, right? So trust me, we Analytics Labs had programs, standalone programs for very long. But when we tie up with external partners, we have tied up in past with IBM, we have with NASCOM, we have with IIT. There's a lot of cost which we pay, but the reason we are willing to incur and pay that cost is because end of the day, our student are doing this course to get job. And if you have a certification with good brand name, with good accreditation body, let's say when I talk about NASCOM accreditation, it comes with some frameworks which are related to the occupation standards set by industry. If I talk about IIT-based accreditation or certification, needless to say, it's probably the most sought after brand name, IIT and IIMs, right? So that accreditation helps to the stage that your CV should be taken seriously, should be shortlisted. Beyond that, of course, how you perform in the interviews is going to be the key, right? But coming back to that specific question, Mohammed, I hope you get some clue and a starting point, right? So look for these frameworks, but you will have to practice them as part of our course. That will be the module also. But even if you want to do at your end, these two, three of any of these frameworks which you think works with your style, your thought process, pick them, look at some examples and practice them. And trust me, a lot of these problem solving and communication you can apply day to day thing also. Every now and then we have to do some decision making, right? Try to use these problem solving frameworks for that. So we'll try if we can do a webinar on problem solving someday, but today I can't go into that more. But I'll just mention that there are some frameworks. One is McKinsey's 7-step loop for problem solving. Then there is a pyramid principle, right? And there is something called structured problem solving using issue trees. So look for these. You will find a lot of content that can help you. Okay. The next is profile building and interviews. So CVs and profile building, everyone understands that, but sometimes it will also differ whether you are a fresher or a working professional, you are coming from tech or non-tech background, right? Because it is also important that how you present yourself on online and offline job networks, especially online. Sometimes we see candidates have done everything, but when we check their LinkedIn profile or online job portals, they have not appropriately put the projects they have worked on, right? Or their LinkedIn is empty. They haven't done anything on that. And trust me, that is actually very frustrating for us also, that you spend 8 months, 1 year in learning a program and all that. And where you will get visibility with the recruiters, you're not doing your job well. So how to build your CV, uh, whether you are a fresher or tech, non-tech background, all those things matter. Of course, we guide you with that, but how you present yourself, you need to have a project portfolio. These days, even having a GitHub portfolio is important, that you maintain a portfolio on GitHub of the projects you have worked, right? You can share. So it's a very good practice when you share your CV, you share your GitHub portfolio link along with the CV. If you are hunting for job on LinkedIn, put up your GitHub profile. And it is also possible sometimes when you're looking for a full-time opportunity, especially let's say that currently the market is very slow at the moment. Uh, do not shy away from internship or freelance opportunities. Just last week, one of the students who got internship opportunity, I think sometime in January, worked on internship for 3-4 months and converted that into a very good salary package job. So it is with one of the apparel clothing company. So sometimes when you're seeking job or building a rewarding career, you need to be patient. All of us expect that we directly jump to a job, right? It happens in most of the cases, but in some cases, the path will go through the internship, right? Sometimes if the profile is weak, even if you have to do unpaid internship, don't shy away. And we are not saying that company should exploit or take undue advantage, but let's say if it is a good opportunity where you learn a lot of things, a 2 months internship, even if it's unpaid, not a bad option in some cases. Not all. If you're a working professional, if you're an experienced candidate, then of course I'm not recommending this. And in our case, especially, let's say when you have a mentor or your senior, right? Your friends, your cousins who are guiding you, work on the feedback if they share. So sometimes we also see this problem. Candidates do as they said, but they are not proactively seeking feedback. Let's say you did not clear 2 interviews. Have you tried to introspect why you did not clear it? Try to seek feedback for it. Sometimes we repeatedly see there is a feedback given, but then candidates are not even working on that feedback, right? Could be related to sometimes soft skills, could be related to how you are explaining your projects, could be related to problem solving, could be how you are interacting with the, let's say, senior team members. So last to last month, we had an unfortunate situation. There was a candidate who, with one of the NBFC companies or a fintech company, went in the last stage, right? And started having a very casual or not a very professional chat with the CFO of the company. It was probably last round, right? Of course, company did not select him and also gave us the feedback as an interview, right? So sometimes even these kind of things, when how you are conducting, right, you may not realize as a beginner, but then please pay attention to what your mentors are sharing, work on the feedback if they have. Try to maintain, let's say, best professionalism, right? And one thing I would want to say, you also need to be open and flexible in the beginning of your career, especially. So we recently had one case where candidate did not apply because that company was 6 days working. And there could be 20-30% companies which might be 6 days working, right? He did not apply because he didn't want to do it. And which I understand may not be a desired situation for him. But when you're starting your career and looking for a long-term career, which is a rewarding career, right? You need to be flexible about these kind of things. So starting from, be sure it works for you and you're ready to put that effort. Focus on the combination of technical and other in-demand skills, right? Do not just stop with the technical skills. Even some challenges around problem solving, communication is going to be very important, right? And then have your profile which is very presentable, good portfolio of projects, and show flexibility and eagerness while approaching these opportunities. So these steps I have broken down and explained, but very happy to take any questions you have on this. So guys, what I'll do is I'll share few names, right? Towards the end, I will share few links also, which you can use from problem solving point of view. I'll do that. So I'm not marking this question answered so that I remember it in the beginning, and in the chat window, I'll share some references with you. Okay, now coming to a lot of pending questions. But before I do that, because a lot of these questions are right course, job role, etc., that is covered in our next section. Anything which you want to know more on these steps, anything you have in specific? Okay, let's move to the next step. Okay, I'll come to this section later on. I will not spend a lot of time here, but what I want to quickly showcase here, people coming asking questions from tech, non-tech background, etc. Right? So very quickly, so Nikunj, ex-student, right? He came from academic background. He was a, I think, assistant professor or doing some academic work, academic career before he make a transition. So a lot of times we face this challenge that people are coming from non-technical background or academic background. How does it work? And Karthik switched a job. It was a career transition, right? But even as a data analyst, he bagged a salary of 13.75. And this is basically, I think, few months back or about a year old now. Then another candidate not coming from computer science background or anything, he shifted after our course, right, as a data analyst, and his salary hike was 160%, right? Why I'm sharing these three? Not coming from a prior analytics background, making a shift, and in this case, even academic shift, not even a corporate shift. Now let's look at another example, which is something very interesting. Archie's right now is working as a data science engineer, and it has been some time now because he's also associated with us. So first he did a course with us in 2016, then he did another course with us in 2018-19. Then later on, in last 1 year or so, he opted for another advanced learning option on the AI. Now, if you see, Archie's comes with BA honors background. Okay. So this is a common question. I don't have an engineering background or tech background, but there are a lot of other examples where candidates are from non-engineering background, non-tech background. If you have taken a structured approach and put right effort, you will be able to get good success. Sometimes it might be slow, sometimes it might be fast. But when we are talking about a career, which is, let's say, going to be a career for next 20, 30, 40 years or related to that, right? We need to keep that kind of approach. Another example, Vandana, she was having a career break. So maybe after, I think, if I remember correctly, after post-wedding or some responsibility, she had a career break, right? And after that, she did course and then made a career switch. And she made a good switch with a bank, IDFC Bank, at close to 12 LPA. Another example, someone coming from mechanical engineering background. So a lot of times we see people coming from civil mechanical background having this question, right? So he did course after mechanical engineering and he was doing some job in engineering only, mechanical engineering only. But post the course, he switched from mechanical engineering background to a business analyst background with 50% hike, right? So not spending a lot of time here. In short, career breaks, non-academic background, non-corporate background, non-technical background, this is not an excuse. If we are willing to put effort, if this is a career which interests you, you would be working hard. Trust me, there are very good opportunities which candidates create for themselves. Okay, jumping to the questions which you have. So first thing is about courses and for what kind of profile it works. Okay. So one thing is I am focusing on the courses which are best suited for job seekers, which are best who are looking for job or career transitions from any other field. So one of our very popular flagship courses is data science and AI. So the full name is, so all the courses which I am mentioning, the full name is actually advanced certification in data science and AI. So these are advanced certification courses in collaboration with IIT Guwahati. This is good for candidates with STEM background. When I say STEM, it could be any quantitative background, let's say mathematics, stats, engineering, tech, any of the quantitative background. And it is fine if you don't have any programming background, you can opt for this course. Okay. This is available both in weekend and weekday boot camps. If you are coming with non-STEM background, right? Let's say you are from BA background, okay, BCom background, okay. You have not studied stats, maths, or engineering or any of these things. You can opt for courses focused on business analytics and data analytics. Candidates coming from STEM or technical background, let's say someone in our current participants coming with SQL developer background, right? This is a course you can opt for. Sorry, this is about 8 months, not 6 months. On correction here, this will be around 8 months. Okay. So if you're coming with STEM background, you have some tech experience, or even let's say you do not have an experience coming from engineering background, you can opt for full stack applied AI course. This is only available in weekends. For professionals with 2 or more years of experience, we also have an executive certification in data science with AI. This is about an year course. You can consider this as equivalent to a diploma course. So this is an executive certification with IIT Guwahati in collaboration with IIT Guwahati. Programming experience is not mandatory, but this is recommended for candidates with minimum 2 years of work ex. However, in some cases, if the education background is very good, right, if they have a lot of other things which they have done as part of their education degree, as like internship, apprenticeship, we can consider those applications, but ideal for people with work ex, right? So this is broadly about the programs we have. Now let me quickly look at the questions we have. Then I'll connect with the questions which are related to this. So one is someone with no experience, no tech background, and is into sales, how difficult or easy it is. For business analysts, see, if you are not from technical background, no programming, simply go with business analytics or data analytics course we have. Okay. I will not say it is just as easy that you enroll and after 6 months you will just get a job. No, if you're willing to pursue that track, right, it is definitely achievable, and the effort is also worth it, right? I'll tell you why we also connect our courses to outcome-based approach. We'll talk about it. The other one was 4 or 5 years of experience, SQL developer, right? Sorry, your name is coming as anonymous. We can connect with you offline, so you can consider. Will depend. If purely technical profile, you can opt for this course, right? Otherwise, if we get to know or understand your profile better with after 4 or 5 years of experience, you can also consider this course, right? So this would be, of course, has a lot more advantage because there are some modules on AI leadership and AI management also in this course. But we can connect one-to-one. Team can help you. But one of these two courses you can opt for. See, there is another question, normal data analyst and business intelligence. The simple answer is a business intelligence professional will be mostly working on descriptive analytics with the focus on dashboard creations, report creations, and limited set of tools. As a data analyst, the problems you will work on will be more broader, right? The tools you will use may also be combination of Excel, Python, etc. Versus as a BI analyst, you might be just working on one or two tools. But here you might also be doing descriptive, right? Diagnostic, right? And maybe bit of predictive also. So if you have an option, I'm speaking in a very generic manner at the moment. It also depends on looking at the job description organization. My answer may change, but data analyst gives you better opportunity to learn, grow, and do more things rather than being restricted to just one side of the job role. So you can say data analyst may sometimes act as a business intelligence analyst also, sometimes as a little bit of data scientist also. So the learning and opportunities are higher there. Sonali, I think you got the answer. Probably you as an MCOM, you may consider out of these two programs, right? If you are interested and appetite for machine learning and bit of AI, I suggest go with data science because even from job hunting point of view, it will make few things easier. It will open more opportunities, but it is fine if you want to go with data analyst, business analyst, that is apt enough to start with. Sorry, JEE Polytechnical entrance exams to be diploma. So is it now a degree or still a diploma? I didn't get your question. Probably you can connect with us one-to-one. We can help with you. Okay, 17 years of experience on education domain with Microsoft technologies, MS SQL, etc. Okay, fine. See, if you're looking for a career transition to corporate, uh, I would suggest consider AI course, because with these many years and working on SQL, you develop a good aptitude on the technical aspects also on data technologies. So transition to corporate with skills which are in demand. So needless to say, AI ML is highly in demand, right? And a slight modification also on profiles based on these, it will be very helpful for to pursue that. So in short, either you are wanting to pursue in education and train on these things, that's one. But if the interest is making a transition to corporate career, AI ML being in demand with high demand and coming from data tech background, I think you should definitely opt for this program. Harshit, yes, it will be good enough to get job. These tools are good enough. Don't worry about it. Power BI, SQL, Tableau, this is excellent, right? However, from if you are opted for a course, professional course, I suggest rather than just going with ML certification, consider this particular course, right? It is perfectly fine if you just want to go with the ML, but connect with the team if needed later on, right? And even in a week or 10 days, you want to switch, you can let us know. But yes, by the time you're done with this, these skills are good enough to get a job for an MCA background candidate. No worries. Just do it well. Okay. So Mohammed, I already mentioned and share some examples. There are people coming from even BA background. They were able to start their career successfully as a data analyst, as a business analyst. As a BCom graduate, what you do is go with business analyst or data analytics course for now, and that should be the correct path. You can deprioritize machine learning for the time being. Okay. There is a question, how Analytics Labs is different from other platforms. What is the differentiating factor here? See, there are two, three, which I would want. They, of course, I can talk about a lot more, but two, three, I would definitely want to share here. See, we are an institute which is there since 2011. It's not a data science coaching platform which you see has come up in last 2 3 years, especially post COVID. And how does it matter? Because as I shared, me, my other two co-founders are coming from same background. We are deeply involved in the organization till date and all aspects of it, right? So it's not like just any other institute where you have any course which is sellable, they will pick up. We only focus on analytics because that's our deep expertise. Data science, AI, analytics are deep expertise. We are only offering courses there. So the level of expertise we offer on these domains, there is hardly any other who would be able to offer that level of expertise and quality control. Number one. Number two, as I said, we take a holistic approach. So we are not just teaching you Excel as Excel, Python as a Python, right? We are taking an approach where the learning is going to be very application oriented. Number one. You will also have see the focus on problem solving, right? How to present these analysis in more practical manner. So those kind of things are going to be well taken care of, which to my knowledge, there are not, or most of the institutes will not do, right? Now, even on the fees, if you see the fees we are charging for IIT courses in comparison to other institutes of any repute, uh, it's actually very, very competitive. And I will be talking more about it. So number one, deep expertise, right? Of course, we are running a commercial enterprise, but there is this part or what we are doing is very close to our heart and very passionate about it. So all three co-founders are taking care of that part. To the program, we have highly job oriented and not just technical, but very application oriented with focus on problem solving parts, etc. Soft skills, communication from business point of view are going to be there. In fact, for this program, we are also introducing a module, it you may not see on website yet, on business communication. So this is a ask typically from especially from freshers. So that is also going to be part of the coursework which we would be having now, right? Apart from this, if you have any other specific questions, I'll talk about it. I'm happy to answer. There is one part of your question, average package. I'll come to that, right? Now, since you brought up point on the package and the course fee, see, if you compare our course fee versus programs with this kind of duration, 12 months, 1 year, etc., right? And that too with IIT certification. This is for a executive certification, which typically starts from about 3 lakh rupees or so. And what we are doing, we are taking a very outcome-based approach. The 50% of the fee will be paid after placement. Okay. That too, when you get a minimum CTC. Let's say you are a fresher. For data science or AI programs, minimum CTC has to be 7 lakhs. Then only you pay the remaining 50%. Okay. For data analyst, business analyst, it is 5 lakhs. Okay. And for executive certification in data science, it has to be 10 lakhs. So whatever we are doing, we are tying it to an outcome-based approach that you pay part of the fee for learning and certification and part of the fee only when you get a job, that to meeting certain standards. If you are a working professional and you, let's say, already have a package of 10 lakhs, then minimum salary increment should be 20%, then only you pay it, right? If you, let's say, you are already someone who is working on a package of 9 lakhs, we are not saying that from 9 you go to 7 and then pay us. No, we are saying when you are working on 9, until you don't get a 20% increment after 6 months of certification in PRP, right? You don't have to pay the 50% fee. If you are someone you think you by yourself are good at it, you do not need PRP and placement support and effort, you can just pay 50% and post certification opt out of PRP. So if you are comparing with, I don't know what's a better word if you want to use with any local institute and all that, we will not like to compare our programs. But if you're comparing our programs with any reputed post-grad, IIT or other university-based certifications, etc., you will be able to see what you are paying and what you're paying after the results. They're highly competitive. Other institutes offering this kind of model, the course fee actually reaches above 2.5, 3 lakh rupees. But we understand as a learner that may not work for you. So we are, let's say you're opting for this program. What we are asking for right now is 65,000 plus taxes and remaining 65 after placement. And there also you have an option of EMIs. So that is basically just to give you the range of packages, right? But needless to say, as I also spoke about in the previous slide, there are candidates achieving 50% salary hike, 100%, 100 to 150%. So those cases are also there. However, what we speak as part of our counseling and helping students to understand are the average packages. Okay. One quick question, which I can very quickly answer. Hackathon score, does it matter? Yes. So anything you are doing, let's say internship, hackathons, etc., they help in your profile selection. They make your profile stronger. So post certification will also guide you and help you that you should participate in these cases. Karthik, see, in comparison to software development, if you're looking for, let's say, AI ML based role, the growth will be faster, right? How easy would be, we need to understand more about your profile. So generally for people from tech background, making an AI ML based transitions is easier. However, probably you can connect with the counseling team if needed with some senior team member to discuss more about your profile in detail will be helpful before I can exactly do it. See, what I can suggest someone who has mentioned BC and MCA, you can opt for either, since you already have a bit of tech background. So I would suggest you opt for either data engineering or data scientist based approach. Data analyst is fine, but may not help you to fully realize your potential or the salary package which you can get with data engineer or data scientist. And your background supports to go with data engineer or data scientist. As a fresher, which is the best service or product based company, I would suggest to go with service at the moment. The learning will be faster. You will have a lot more learning in a service based company. Of course, the role may be also more demanding in comparison to product based, but it's better. Harshit, at that point of time, part-time or internships can work because if you're already either if you're pursuing something part-time, yes, then it's possible. If you're pursuing full-time, then it's better you complete MCA, right? And trust me, a lot of people enroll our programs in last or second last year, and they are able to very best use make of that time, so not be a problem. See, others are offering same thing, but I'm sure you can validate it, right? So how many institutes are actually coming with a founding team with the same this kind of deep background and also involved in all aspects of learning? So you might want to take a look at that factor also. And what is a vintage history background? Is it an institute which is offering 100 different courses and data science is one of them, or an institute which only focuses on data science and analytics? Shadav, that would be non-IIT or non-placement program. So we can explain this in more detail. So when we collaborated with IIT, they did not want to offer these programs at that price point. We insisted and requested, but IIT programs are not coming at this price point with placement support. So they have the mandate we have got is to change the model and make it more affordable, split into 50-50% thing. So till April, we were not offering this IIT based program. Okay. The fee and all that will also change accordingly. Initially, we requested IIT for some transition period, but that was not with the pay after placement program. Anant, you may at the moment consider data analytics or business analytics course. Okay. Uh, Transitioning 6 years of WorkX, I need to understand more about your profile, sales, then in what domain. So happy to help with these questions, guys. But if it needs a one-to-one profile evaluation, we'll do it offline, not as a group time. Okay. Shraddha, yes, and you pay 50% now and 50% pays post placement. So 65 plus taxes is the fee for weekend data science. Okay.
Sumit, there is a question on the PAP. Students are asking, do they need to pay the remaining 50% in case if they crack a job? When is the 50% of the balance fee applicable?
Okay. Okay. Let's say you crack a job, you get a job, and once your salary cycle starts, like the remaining fee starts from that. So either you can pay in one go or you would want to pay in EMIs, 12 months EMIs, that can also be done. So let's say you get a job, You are joining job in May, you are eligible to start paying it, and it can also be aligned with your salary cycle.
Do they need to pay even if they crack a job without our help?
See, if you have signed up for PRP, okay, where the lot of investment we are doing for those 8 weeks, yes, because the purpose of PRP is enabling you to get that job. So when we are coaching, making you ready, even if you, let's say, have got through LinkedIn, that's a mutual effort we have put in there. So yes, if you signed up for PRP, right, then whether it is through the referred opportunity or it is through the your own, but through that network and effort, you would have to pay. So guys, one thing I would want to mention here, I understand if you're comparing this to a non-committal, just a simple any certification course, there is one way to look at the fee. But as I said, if you're looking at any PG, IIT, university-based programs, they are going in the range of 2-3 lakh rupees. Even with the courses which are coming with connected to job, the typical model there is 20% income sharing for 18 months. So typically the fees then goes up to 2-3 lakh rupees. Let's say even if you take a package of 5 lakh rupees and you have to pay 20% for 18 months, right? You are paying 1.5 lakh rupees. We see a lot of students have that apprehension, and somewhere we also feel charging 20% for from a fresher who just started at 5 lakhs, okay, or let's say someone who got 10 lakh rupees job, 20% could be pinching. Hence we have kept a flat transparent thing, but connected to a minimum CTC. You can find more details on this. Team member Sabrish or counseling team member can share more details on this. But as I mentioned, based on the profile and track, there is a minimum salary. And that also, if you're working professional, the minimum becomes your current salary plus 20, at least 20% increment. Okay. So let's say you are a working professional, your current salary is 6 lakh rupees. You opted for executive certification and you got a salary of 9 lakh rupees. Okay. Even in that case, you are not going to pay. Why? Because here you have to pay only if it is 10 lakhs. Okay. Another scenario, you are a professional with 11 lakh rupees salary. Okay. After certification, executive certification, you got a package of 12 lakh rupees, right? Then also you don't have to pay because you did not get 20% increment. So here you got 20% increment, but it was below the minimum 10 lakhs. Here you crossed 10 lakhs, but it was not 20% increment. Then also you don't have to pay. We really want students who are serious about it because we are tying our success and your success together. We see it same. So if you remember, when I talked about roadmap, I was very clear. Opt for it if you are willing to commit your effort and interest into it, right? Because we teach, it is fine for us to teach lesser number of students, right? But obtain better outcome. Okay, we do not want students where they are just doing because anyone has said they. If you see the career in analytics and data science interests you, you understand how it is rewarding, and for that reward you are willing to put that effort, right? Then AnalytixLabs is for you. And as I said, your success and our success is tied together. It's that simple. All right. Sorry, I think we are about 18 minutes over the session. I'll stop here. Sabrish, anything specific you want to share? One very quick thing, one question. Basically, I'm going to take some questions now. There is question on online and offline. Okay. So guys, you have 3 modes of learning. One is blended, where you have e-learning like what most of the institutes provide, but you learn at your own pace and convenience. And every weekend, there are live sessions for your doubts and case studies, right? So this is risk free, because let's say you don't like it, you want to upgrade to online or offline, you can do that. Okay, so you can pay the differential amount and upgrade. The other option is live online, the way we are doing it. Just that right now, most of you are on mute, but in actual sessions, you can also talk back to the trainer to discuss your doubt and questions. Okay. So online or offline, equally effective. It is your own style of learning. Uh, there are students, they feel they learn better, they focus better offline, right? They feel more comfortable with mentor being there in person, right? So most welcome to come for offline. But in case you are in a remote location, you are not, let's say, in Delhi NCR, Noida, Gurgaon, Bangalore, right? It is difficult for you, and just for this you are planning to take PG and all that, I will recommend go with online or blended. If needed, it does not work for you, you can always upgrade to the classroom, so we can provide you that flexibility. The other thing is, people who are, let's say, stay close by, a lot of them opt for classroom, right? They may attend some classes in classroom, some classes online. So you have that flexibility. If you have opted for classroom, you can come to the classroom also and attend online also. So we very often have students who are living far off. They want to attend initial few classes online. Once they get comfortable, sorry, initial few classes offline. Once they get comfortable, they come online, right? When they want to interact or meet or discuss something, then they again come to classroom. So from our side, we are trying to extend as much as flexibility you in terms of learning modes, switching between these learning modes to make things easier and achievable. Because as we understand, some fresher or students may have affordability issues to stay in metro. Who are here, very good for them. For working professionals, they might already have some prior commitments, family commitments. So all this flexibility we want to extend so that learning should not get hampered. So that's the thing. But yes, from budget and economics point of view, even if you start with this, if it does not work for you, it is risk free. You can upgrade to online or classroom if you wish to do so. Okay, Sabrish, over to you. I'll also share some resources as requested by participants on the problem solving. So I'll also share that here for everyone to look at. But in the meantime, over to you.
Sure. Sure, Sumit. Thank you. As usual, it was a very informative session. Lot many things that we were able to understand on the subject, on the course curriculums, how Analytics Labs is offering various learning modes, how the certification is different from other institutes, and most importantly, how the placements, how transparent we are when it comes to placements. I think most of the questions are answered. Thanks, team, for thanks, guys, for connecting. I'm stopping the recording in case the session is over, and I've also left a link in case if you feel any of your questions are unanswered, you can very well click that link. It is there in your chat window, and feel free to leave your questions. Probably we will take it up one-on-one, most probably today itself, if not by tomorrow for sure. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. The session is over. People who don't have any questions can actually leave the meeting. Thank you, and hope to see you in one of our upcoming sessions. All the best.